Hey guys, so I thought I'd make a video today. It's snowing in London, but to make a video to focus today on some of the really practical things we can start to do to break the shackles of poverty. Yeah, so one big thing that really stood out to me this week was I met a friend of mine who is a really good friend I've grown up with, and he also happens to be a high earner. And this friend of mine earns a basic income. I'm just saying this for illustration purposes. He earns a basic income of just over £250,000, and I met him just to have a chat and have a meal and stuff. But he kept telling me that he was struggling financially. Yeah, so at that income level, and it sounds crazy, but some people, given the way that the system's structured, still really struggling because of really high taxes and all their personal allowances being taken away and stuff like that. Yeah, and obviously having lifestyle costs and what have you. So today I just thought, I'm gonna just let's have a quick conversation around some practical things we can start to do to break this chain of poverty. Because in effect, if you think about it, what's really happening in the UK is that taxes are rising and all kinds of things are happening, which means that a lot of us, for the many years ahead of us, many of us will need to work a lot longer and work a lot harder in order to maintain the same level of lifestyle or anything close to the lifestyle that we've got. So here are three things that I'd highly recommend that you start to take seriously if you want to break away from this shackles of poverty that we're all being put into, essentially. Essentially the people who are earning middle income type incomes are essentially being wiped out, because all that will exist is people who are earning very low incomes and people who are earning extremely high incomes. Yeah. So here are three things you can start to do. The very first one is that you need to start to explore alternative ways of earning outside the PAYE system. So here I'm talking, and I know this is a lot harder with IR35 and what have you, but I'm talking like, exploring, if you can become a consultant in some way, contracting in some capacity, or running a side hustle that means that you're actually earning your income via a limited company. And via limited company, although taxes are being made harder and stuff like that, with corporation tax going up, it's still a lot better than earning your money via the PAYE system, which, as I've just given you the example with my friend, it's essentially, you might not even know it. You might be thinking to yourself, do you know what? I'm going to be working hard for years, and as I earn more, I'll be better off. But the truth is, as you get to those high income levels, you're essentially doomed to remain in the same place more generally, because you lose your allowances and you pay more taxes and you're more frustrated. So that's the first thing, is you've got to find a way. I'll just stop here for a minute. You've got to find a way of breaking free of that PAYE system, or using the PAYE system but actually earning an income outside that system, such that you're able to maybe make pension contributions from a limited company and stuff like that, because that still remains. Do you understand? Like my friend of mine who is basically privately telling me his challenges. At that level of income, your pension contributions become, I believe it's £4,000 a year max. Yeah, so he's having to use his lifetime ISA to combine with that so that he can contribute about £8,000 a year into his pensions. Yeah, now you might be going, yeah, that's like the 0.1% people's problems and so on. But I'm just saying this because you could be in that position as you earn more. Look at the example of our personal allowances being frozen, in addition to the 45% tax rate now being brought down to 125k. What's to stop them bringing that rate down to, say, 100k in the next few years? And I know I'm speaking to people who are a very small group of people, but I want you to imagine that if you're working hard, you're working smartly, you one day get to those income levels, and you don't want to get there and be surprised. You want to be planning now and asking yourself, how do I avoid remaining poorer because of these changes that keep happening and will keep happening? Yeah. So that's the first thing. Second thing is all about hanging around people. So at the weekend, we went to an event. We ran an event for our community at Financial Trade Academy, just a meet up in London at Canary Wharf. And what was really interesting about that meetup was that people who came to that meeting were actually discussing ways in which they can break free from the system. They were actually talking about opportunities to potentially work together. People were looking at asking other people in the meeting what they had done. Like, for example, some of the people who were there were property investors. They were asking themselves, like, how have you been able to buy a property? Have you been able to do certain things that mean that you have positioned yourself in the same way the wealthy people do, which is that they own assets, and those assets obviously go up in value because of inflation. And those assets then generate income for you. So the point I'm making here is you need to find for yourself an environment where you can basically you can get to learn from other people, and you can get to actually hear them share their ideas, because honestly, nothing beats actually being in an environment where people are sharing ideas. They're not just hugging the ideas and keeping it to themselves, but they're actually educating you practically, so they can then say, this is what's working. Let me take this idea, go away, investigate this idea for myself, see if it's got merit, and experiment with this idea to see how it can help me move forward. And the more you hang around with people, the more your mindset is, almost there's an unlocking that happens in the way you think. And you are able to connect dots a lot more because you're learning from people who know what they're talking about, okay? So that's the second thing to do in terms of breaking free from the shackles of poverty, is really about changing your environment. Going to spaces or communities where you can meet other people. We meet 4 times a year. Our next meeting is in March, so every quarter we have a meeting over at Financial Joy Academy, for example. But find yourself anywhere. So long as it's about it's within your, your community. Ours is in London and so on and stuff like that. But find ones that relate to you, where you live, the areas of interest you're interested in and stuff like that. So find those communities, join them, spend time in those environments, and grow from there. That's the second thing. The third thing I'd highly suggest is about joint ventures. So if you notice, asset prices keep rising. And for a lot of people, where, like, say, back in the 2000s, you could you could own and buy a property by yourself, and you could own it, and it's fully in your own name and stuff like that for investment purposes. But let's say now, that you're thinking about buying property. It's very difficult to buy property, say for investment purposes or anything like that, or you want to buy a business and stuff like that. It's a lot harder. So joint ventures presents a really great opportunity, because in this current environment where we're in, with interest rates rising and stuff like that, what you find is that the people who do joint ventures are the people who get their foot on the ladder. So if I give you a practical example, I called an estate agent just to inquire about a property I saw locally in my area that I thought might be great for HMO and stuff, strategy for property investing. I was just curious, and the owner of the property said to me, and the day I went, there were 10 people who showed up, and I put an offer in. And in the end, the owner said, your offer's been accepted. But guess what? A few moments later, I got a call saying, no, sorry, somebody else has outbid you, because they are part of a consortium of investors. So basically, a bunch of people who buddied together, put money together, and they're buying the place outright. And what I noticed as part of that strategy was that by doing that, they're able to put down a much bigger equity piece. So they would either buy the property or the asset or whatever it is, whether it's residential, commercial, business, whatever. They're much more likely to buy the thing outright or put down a much bigger deposit, such that they get very favorable terms with, say, banks and stuff in terms of loans and that kind of stuff, mortgages and what have you. So what you notice then, if we're being really real, is that the people who are going to be taking advantage of assets and things like that, opportunities in a recession or in times when there are uncertainty, as we're in right now, are the people who have the capital that's available, or the people who can joint venture with other people to make it happen. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you're that person who's saying to yourself, do you know what? I want to own an asset, but I can't yet, I don't have enough saved up to be able to own that asset, then you're much better off owning, say, 50% of something than owning 100% of nothing. Do you see where I'm going with this? So it could be that you buddy up with a couple of people, 3 people, 4 people, but the goal being that obviously after doing your due diligence and stuff like that, that investing in a particular asset class that you've done some research on, and you're thinking long term, is a great way for you to get your foot on that ladder or whatever, onto that asset class, such that over time you're experiencing capital appreciation, potentially income generation and stuff that happens over time. Because all these properties, They're all still the same properties, but they just happen to cost more over time. They all happen to obviously go up in value, driven by inflation, driven by various other metrics. Yep. So I hope that's really spoken to you. I just wanted to keep the ideas really practical. If you'd like to know more about anything I've mentioned, if you've got any questions, please feel free, jump in the comments below and let me know. And if you'd love to meet up, it was so, honestly, I'll try and put up an image actually from the meetup. It felt so nice meeting people from our community. And actually, because we're going to be doing the meetups quarterly, it's going to be absolutely amazing, because you know what happens? You build trust, and out of the trust you build with other people will come the joint venture opportunities. So there you go. These are 3 things you can do to begin to break free from the shackles of poverty that we are all finding ourselves in because of the state of the UK economy, the state of the global economy, and stuff like that. If you really enjoyed today's video, would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. It just helps us a lot. And I hope you're enjoying the snow. Woohoo! That is it. Hit the like on the video as well. Really appreciate it. And apologies, by the way, if there's a lot of noise, but do you know what? I just thought, you know what? I'm out going for a walk, so why not make a video for our people? All right. As we say on this channel, as always, people, in all things, be thankful and seek joy. Take care. Bye.